IQ. He understands the sport. He looks at it in a mental sense. He knows what he needs to do.
Fight. Crawford gonna have to stay consistent and win out. He's gonna have to get ahead and stay ahead. You know what I mean? And then also looming is the controversy. Can Crawford win a close decision? I could never win a close decision.
Crawford has the same, but I just feel like Crawford's ring-eye coordination is better, and he has more fire in the body left. He wants it more, in my opinion.
Lennox Lewis believes Terence Crawford can beat Canelo because the fight is more about the mind than size or power. He says Crawford's smart boxing style, quick movement, and ability to adjust give him the advantage. Lewis feels that even though Canelo is bigger, Crawford's ring IQ and tactics will help him handle the challenge and outthink him, which is why he sees Crawford winning.
He's got incredible talent, incredible IQ. He understands the sport. He looks at it in a mental sense. He knows what he needs to do to stay at the top and be at the top. He moves very well. He's a very elusive mover, and his work rate is high.
I won't ask you who's going to win the fight, because I know it's a question you've probably been asked a million times, but I will ask you, do you think this fight goes the distance, or do you think this fight ends inside the distance?
Interesting. Really an interesting fight to look at.
Coach Bernie says Terence Crawford is a very dangerous fighter because of his timing, accuracy, and power. He explains that Crawford's punches are not just fast, but also very sharp, making them hard for opponents to handle. Bernie points out that even though Canelo has faced many top fighters, he hasn't gone up against someone with Crawford's mix of speed, precision, and natural strength. When he says Crawford's hands feel like bricks, he means Crawford carries real power even when moving up in weight.
A fight is always highly anticipated, and one this magnitude, you know what I'm saying? I think Canelo is hyped too, because they know that Bud brings a different element, and the guys that he's been fighting is now superstars. Bud is a superstar. It's a mega fight. It's an underdog fight. And like I said, I'm sure they anticipate, he has trouble with movers and slick boxers and stuff like that. So they're trying to see how he deals with that. Bud fans is, understandable. Canelo got the power, he got the experience, and, he's one of the faces of boxing. And so, it just breeds anticipation, want to see somebody do something great. And I think that's what everybody mostly counting on. It's a lot of hate, though. A lot of people want to see us lose, and the real ones want to see us win. You know what I mean? But, all in all,
Fans are very excited about this fight because many want to see how Canelo, known for his strength and counterpunching, will deal with Crawford's tricky style. Crawford is fast, unpredictable, and smart in the ring, which makes him very hard to figure out. Unlike most of Canelo's past opponents, Crawford won't just stand in front of him to be countered. This matchup is not only about skills, but also about reputation, and for the first time in years, people feel Canelo is facing someone who can truly test him in every way.
Well, Bud Crawford just hits hard anyway. He got fucking bricks for hands, you know what I mean? He got baseball mitts. His hands is as big as a baseball mitt. So, then he's a sharp puncher. So you got to understand that Canelo hasn't fought a sharp puncher. Them guys wasn't sharp punchers. Magia, Berlanga, the guys, they not sharp punchers. You know what I'm saying? So when you got it's a difference with the speed and the velocity that they're coming with. You know what I mean? If you can understand that, the quickness of the punches, the sharpness of the punches, these guys, you can see all their punches coming. You ain't gonna be able to see all Bud punches coming. You ain't gonna be able to see his punches coming, for real.
They have like one common opponent, Amir Khan?
Yeah.
Tell me, what do you think the difference is? Obviously, you've seen a highlight reel with with Canelo.
Amir Khan, who has faced both fighters, believes Crawford wants this fight more than Canelo. He respects Canelo's skills, but feels Crawford's hunger, energy, and focus give him the edge. Khan points out that Canelo has already been through many tough years at the top, while Crawford looks fresher and more determined at this stage of his career. For Khan, this fight isn't only about skills, but also about who is ready to give everything to win. And right now, he thinks that fighter is Crawford.
Timing, great feints, moves well, whereas Crawford has the same, but I just feel like Crawford's ring eye coordination is better, and he has more fire in the body left. He wants it more, in my opinion. Whereas Canelo in that last fight against the Cuban guy he fought, he just seems to me that that fire has just gone. Like he was just getting the win and moving around and enjoying himself, which he can do because at the end of the day, the guy he's already cemented his legacy, so he can do that. So yeah, I got Crawford winning that fight.
And when you sparred him, when you were in the same camp with Bomac, what was it like? You have any good stories about sparring him since you were an opponent?
See, when I fought him as a fight, I didn't know what to expect. But then obviously, when I sparred with him, I would try different things to really how would I be able to beat a guy like him? And I was working on different things. And the guy is very tricky. He's a guy that always keeps on adapting your style and also keep getting better and better as the fight goes on. So yeah, he's a very, very good fighter. I do like him because he came to my camp 2-3 times. Drove up to spend like 2-3 weeks with me to just give me some advice and be there with me and win with me and train with me. And so yeah, that's why like them little things go a long way for me, and that's why I'll always support him and push him.
Trainer Stephen Breadman Edwards explains that Canelo sparring with Jaron Ennis is a smart move, but doesn't mean much when it comes to the real fight. He says sparring is useful for practice and strategy, but it can never match the pressure, intensity, and unpredictability of a big championship night. Edwards believes Canelo may be using this sparring to show people he is preparing for Crawford's style, but in truth, it doesn't prove he can beat him. For him, Crawford's skills go far beyond what can be tested in sparring.
And don't do nothing in camp and then go look like $1 million in the fight. That's why fighters spend the kind of money they spend on sparring partners, because getting the look or stimulating the intensity of how a fight is going to be is how you prepare for a fight. And the most important part of camp is sparring. So it didn't make me say that Canelo was going to win the fight, but it did make me say, damn, he's taking this fight serious, and that's a real good look. I respect the fact that he went out and got the best possible sparring he could find for Crawford to win this fight. I even respect when he did it, because if he would have got Boots early in camp, Boots would have probably beat his butt. You know what I mean? When you first come to camp and you're not sharp. So he got him a few weeks in the camp with maybe, what's how many weeks left for the fight? About 3 weeks left for the fight. This usually your peak time. So he got him about 3 weeks left in the camp so he can handle the work. Because again, you've been up to Philly and you've seen the work. Boots don't have bad days in the gym. He stays in the gym all the time. Yeah. So like you could just get him off the streets and he'll go 10 or 12 rounds in the gym. He don't have bad days. I'm like, and I'm not just bragging. I'm not bragging about a kid that I don't train or he's not my son. I'm just telling the truth. Like, I haven't seen him have like an off day in the gym in like 10 years. You know how sometimes a guy don't look good and you be like, oh, okay, he not doing his best. He really don't have them days. You know what I mean?
And the crazy part about it is he does more than 3-minute rounds and he never sits down. Like, never.
Canelo sparring with Jaron Ennis was meant to copy the style he expects from Crawford, since Ennis is also fast, versatile, and able to switch stances. This helped Canelo get a small taste of Crawford's rhythm and unpredictability. But as many experts point out, no sparring partner can fully match Crawford's timing, adaptability, and unique style. In the end, the sparring was more about building Canelo's confidence and showing fans he is preparing seriously, rather than giving him the exact formula to beat Crawford.
Moves, as Canelo's maybe not had as much experience with that since moving to 168. Usually he's the smaller guy fighting some of the bigger guys. But that's not all this is. This is a message that Canelo is looking to replicate exactly what Terence Crawford has in his arsenal, has in his tool set, because everybody has wanted to see the Boots Ennis versus Terence Crawford fight because it's a stylistic matchup that is very interesting. Both guys fight out of both stances. That's right. Boots will fight out of southpaw and orthodox. Both guys are very good using their defense to create offense. Boots, one of the best at Philly shelling, catch countering, being able to do it out of both stances, has a beautiful check hook out of southpaw. As orthodox fighters throw their left hook, he comes over the top with his. And why would Canelo be looking for someone that could throw a beautiful lead hook and a backhand as a counter punch, rolling with their defense back to their offense? Oh, wait, because that's what Terence Bud Crawford does so well. Boots is explosive. He's got great counterpunch timing. He's got good awareness. His feet are good. He can walk you onto punches. He can lead the dance going first, not just looking for his counterpunches, but underrated, I think, in his aggression to lead the exchanges. This is a perfect get for Canelo. And I'm not even trying to play the one side or the other. Canelo fans, Crawford fans, you're going to think whatever you want to think. But the reality is, getting this kind of sparring is a massive deal for Canelo. It's going to give him probably the best look you could get for Terence Bud Crawford outside of sparring Terence Bud Crawford. I can't understate how important even just a couple of days working with Jaron Boots Ennis is going to be for Canelo, just to see a bit of the tempo, a bit of that switching of stance, because let's be honest, there's not many guys that Canelo has fought that have fought out of both stances and done it as fluidly as Boots Ennis or as Bud Crawford will do in their fight.
One big concern for Canelo Alvarez is that his speed and movement have slowed down as he has gotten older. In his 30s, he isn't as quick on his feet, which could be a problem against Crawford's fast and agile style. Canelo is known for his timing, counterpunching, and cutting off the ring, but questions about his stamina and mobility keep growing. If he can't keep up with Crawford's constant movement and angles, he might end up chasing a fighter he can't catch. This means relying only on power won't be enough, and many fans and analysts are watching to see if Crawford's youth and mobility will expose this weakness.
Oh, he's holding back, you can tell. People are saying his legs, they look slower than usual, and Canelo has always been someone who's always had very slow feet, even when he was down at 154 pounds. Something that plagued him throughout the course of his career is he's just had very slow feet, you know, like cement sometimes on them. That's one of the weaknesses of Canelo, and obviously now he's, how old is Canelo? 35 years old, 34, 35. They're gonna be, they were slow in your mid-20s. They're definitely gonna be slow now in your mid-30s. Before we follow up on that, just have a look there really quickly on screen. Please, if y'all could, hit the like, hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. It literally takes like 2 seconds. We're only a couple of subs off 26,300. We want to get 30k. Please, if you could help me out, I'd appreciate it. But yeah, Canelo's always had slow feet, but I think this is the bigger, I think a lot of people are more worried about this now because he's going to be in there. Essentially, he's going to be in there against someone who is really, I mean, it's obviously Crawford's last fight was at 154 pounds, but like, he's really a welterweight. You know, he did look a little bit undersized at 154. He's going to look completely undersized at 168. But the size difference, the size, you know, thing out of the equation, the speed difference is going to be vast because Crawford's always had good feet. He's always had fast feet. And if you think Canelo's feet look slow against someone like William Skull, a big, bulky 168-pounder who, at the end of the day, was just running around the ring, he's going to look even slower against Crawford. And a lot of people are saying, just based upon that training footage, oh, it's now a 50-50 fight, you know, I'm running with Terence Crawford, or that's who I'm going to go with.
Analysts agree that Crawford is very skilled, but moving up in weight to fight a naturally bigger opponent like Canelo is a tough challenge. Canelo has already proven himself in higher weight classes, beating strong and durable champions. His size and experience give him confidence that Crawford has not yet shown at this level. While Crawford's speed and smart tactics are big advantages, they will be tested against Canelo's power and physical strength.
This is what scares me going into this Terence Crawford fight. These are the guys Canelo's typically fighting. This is his last opponent, William Skull. William Skull is far from a great opponent. When we're talking about sheer size and strength, Canelo is just way more built and used to taking on larger guys and overpowering them. Look at William Skull. This guy is jacked. He's huge, man. And that makes me think, like, if Canelo has been taking punches from guys like this, I'm not saying William Skull in particular, but guys like William Skull, the size of William Skull, and he's been dropping them, stopping them, beating them around the ring, overpowering, over-muscling, just everything, physically demanding over them. That makes me think, man, Terence Crawford, I don't know what, you gonna have to come with some heat, dog. Look at Canelo. This guy is half the size of William Skull. There's nothing cut about him. There's nothing popping out, bulging. There's nothing. Look at this. This is insanity. That's why I'm really like, dude, I don't know. Canelo could go in there and walk through Terence Crawford like a hot knife through butter. That is definitely on the table here. He gonna have to be really crafty, really savvy, and have to put on some amazing work from the outside. If he tries to sit there and walk through Canelo, he gonna hit a brick wall, dog. If guys built like this ain't walking through Canelo, even when Canelo looks like this, Terence Crawford ain't doing it, man. I gotta be honest.
No matter who wins, this fight has already made history. The excitement is even bigger because it will stream on Netflix, giving millions around the world a chance to watch. Two of the best fighters of this generation are putting everything on the line, making it more than just a boxing match. It's a cultural moment where legacy, style, and ambition come together in a way fans rarely get to see.
This is huge news for boxing, UFC, and Netflix. Terence Crawford versus Canelo Alvarez will officially be on September the 13th on Netflix. Now, the reason why this is so interesting is, of course, the UFC, TKO, recently acquired their new strange boxing model with Turki Al-Sheikh and Dana White promoting it. And this actually will be on Netflix. So for some context, if you don't know, the UFC are currently under negotiations with a new TV deal. And the rumors for a very long time were that of Netflix. But it doesn't look like they're going down that route anymore. Or at least it sounded like Netflix wanted a total package where they would get the major UFC fights and the major boxing fights as well. Or potentially they didn't even want the UFC fights and they just wanted a couple of these sort of events. Regardless, Dana White is officially the promoter for it, which I do believe is still bizarre. I still really think that's super bizarre. And the fact that they have quite opposing views in Turki Al-Sheikh and Dana White, to be honest. Not in everything, but in how events are run. Dana White doesn't even like stadiums, first and foremost. Turki Al-Sheikh loves making as big of a splash as he possibly can. As fights go, for the casuals, this one is as good as it gets. It really is. Let me know what you think. As always, keep it casual.
Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, and stay informed. Stay tuned for more updates, and let's keep our news accurate.